Welcome, adventurers, to the very late August crafting video. I am, as always, the Rambling Bard, and today we've got something rather special for you. It's actually a one-off D&D session. In other words, a D&D session that has its plot that starts and ends all in one sitting. It takes about 2.5 hours, as you can tell by the player mark there, or the play length there. Words. IR Bard. I word good. Anyway, so, I promise that the improvisation in this episode is far better than what you just witnessed right there. But essentially, the entire thing I did as an improvisation. The only prep that I made is I drew the grounds, basically for a map. I didn't look up the character information or anything like that, like the monster information or anything like that, until we started the session. And I didn't write anything down ahead of time. It was all just in my head from just kind of mulling over the prompt and thinking about it off of a one-sentence prompt. I don't want to spoil it for you, so the short version is Goblin Pirates. But check out the following episode. Before you get into it, just a real quick thing on what Circus Geeks is, this is episode 0/1 of Circus Geeks. Circus Geeks is an episodic one-off campaign. It's recurring theme. All of the characters are workers or members within a circus, and they all have certain backgrounds within Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign's rules. Either backgrounds that they're actually all three of them are backgrounds that I made up. It's either circus worker, circus performer, or circus management. And all three of these characters have chosen one of those backgrounds and then have built their characters kind of based on that. I'll let them introduce their characters for you right here at the very beginning of the session. I don't want to go into, I mentioned reading their backstories, I think. I'm not going to do that. I'll let you, the audience, discover their backstories just kind of as we play through the game. But the last note that I'll make about Circus Geeks is because it's a one-off and because it's supposed to be episodic, picture it kind of like a cartoon. Imagine Invader Zim or maybe the Rugrats or something like that, where crazy, insane things can happen, but at the end of the episode, everything goes back to normal. Even if you don't see it happen, after the episode, everything returns to normal. In the next episode, it's business as usual. So I hope that you enjoy this improv, circus-themed kind of one-off D&D session. I did it entirely off the cuff, and the entire reason that it is my my August crafting video is simply because improv is acting and D&D is improv for players and Dungeon Master alike. 3 players that joined me, thank you so much. We had so much fun together, didn't we? I can't wait till we hit our next session. Sarah, Ian, and Nick. And then adventurers, those of you that are joining us and watching this for the first time, I hope you enjoy. Remember, may your rolls be high and life is a series of choices between fear and love, adventurers. Choose love and enjoy the show. We'll see you next time.
A little bit of character orientation and meeting each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
So yeah, let's start at the top and work down according to at least username alphabetically. So we'll start with you, Ian.
All right. What would you like to know?
Just tell us a little bit about your character. If you like, you're welcome to read your character backstory. I can also add that in because I am going to record this for a show. I can add that in recorded with my Dungeon Master voice later if you like. I don't really mind. But for the most part, just do a short introduction, you know, what you look like, your race, your class, and kind of how long you've been with the circus and what you do for them. That's probably the best way to put it.
My character is Nate Kennedy. He's about 44 years old, and he has been working with the circus pretty much his whole life. This circus, but others as well, because, you know, it's hard to believe that one traveling circus would exist for 30 years.
Sure, yeah. This isn't that kind of circus.
I don't know, but it's been his way of life pretty much his whole life. I'm not going to go ahead and read through the character backstory, because I feel like, you know, you guys have already mostly done that, so...
Sure, yeah.
He's salt and pepper. He's got this tanned, rough skin. He's clearly a man who can do a good deal of labor if need be, but chooses not to. far as his profession goes, he can eat just about anything. He prides himself on being able to do so. The biggest, the things he can't really handle are metal and blood. He can see blood, but he can't
consume it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So if ever somebody has a demand for a chicken neck or something, he tries not to make a show of drinking it, as some others might.
Right, gotcha.
So no Ozzy Osbourne bat thing.
No. He can eat the head, but he's not gonna pour it out into a wine glass and drink it.
Gotcha.
Just do. But let's see. He is a monk, mechanically speaking. He's a human monk. He's less of a monk based on meditation and more of a monk based on just being so dang healthy that he can do whatever he wants. Rather than meditating, as monks traditionally do, he instead spends quality time basically pleasing his vices, whether that be smoking, drinks, prostitutes, sleeping all day.
Nice.
Whatever it is that suits his moods. Not great at supplying info just off the bat, but I can answer questions as need be.
I would say that's set a fine example for a character introduction. How about you, Han? As I'm used to calling you.
I know, right? So my character is Devin Dark. English, it's a pain. Devin Dvark.
Okay.
25-year-old variant human warlock. Kind of evil, kind of very evil, seeing as he's pledged himself to the demon lord Baphomet.
Nice.
Yeah. 25-year-old, silver eyes, 6'1", fairly average weight, Vanta black hair because, black isn't good enough. And yeah, been kind of running a horror-esque circus show since he became a warlock. After his village got pretty much toasted by Baphomet and his cult. And he may or may not be using said horror circus show to recruit other people to said cult.
Very nice. So yeah, he that's excellent. You do have to just a quick note to you, and I've got a note for Nate too, but I'm going to wait till after Miss Lingsu's introduction. But just a quick note for Devin. The only thing you will have to be, your only real challenge with the recruiting is you have to keep that part under wraps from the manager, because that's the only, that he wouldn't like that. But that's not to say that you haven't been successful in doing so or anything like that. But that may be challenging for you, or that may be challenges that come to you in the future. If we do.
I kind of figured that.
Yeah, if we do bits around that. But I still like that. I love the idea. It's just straight up a cult leader for an evil god is hiding under the wraps of this.
And as I was telling Sarah and Ian a little bit ago, he's a charismatic individual. He's
Absolutely.
got a silver tongue and whatnot, and I'm pretty sure it's just what are you doing? I'm not turning people to my cult. No. Deception.
What cult? We're just a bunch of friends. I don't...
Exactly.
All right. And Sarah, can you tell us about Miss Ling Su?
Yes, Miss Ling is, she's about 5'4". She's high elvish, ivory skin, black hair, green eyes. Kind of like a Chinese high elf, if that makes sense.
Sure.
She's probably the star acrobat of the show. She likes to fly. Though I don't have that spell, but I just, from trapeze and all that.
Sure, yeah.
Tightrope. In her spare time, she can be found walking around the camp, helping out anybody who might need, or she'll be sitting carving pieces of wood into little animals that there's a booth that they sell her little animals at. Mm-hmm. And she also has a ferret.
Nice. What's your ferret's name?
His name is Odo.
Odo the ferret. All right, let me get a little. See if I can get him a token. Ba-ba.
And game mechanic wise, she is a thief, rogue, arcane trickster.
Excellent. Okay. And the note I have for Nate and for Miss Ling is you two you've known each other for quite a while. Miss Ling, because you've been with this particular circus, or at least the manager of this circus for a good portion of your life, and are thus the kind of the assistant manager, especially when it comes to the acrobats. Oh my goodness, there is a ferret token. That makes me really happy.
Yay!
It's on the wrong layer. Hold on.
It's also worth mentioning real quick. I'm afraid I don't know his actual name, but Crix has lost sound in his headset.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Uh-oh.
It was only about a minute ago, and he didn't really miss anything since it was mostly when you said you were going to give us a note. But
Okay.
to be fair, I think, if you wanted to still get, finish up what you had to say to Sarah and I, like...
Sure, yeah. For y'all, basically, Nate, because you've been with this circus for probably... Let's see. I will determine...
Circus work since he was 16. He is now in his early 40s.
So you get to pick the die size. I'll let you pick, because this circus has been around for a while. It's just been one of those that, like, it's not always been known under the same name, so it's kind of changed hands a few times.
I'll pick a D8.
A D8? Okay, cool.
A D8.
And I'm going to add a DM plus to this. DM secret plus.
Sure.
Nice. Okay, 4 years. You've been with this particular one for 4 years, so you know Miss Ling Su pretty well, at least by sight and by name. You know that she's kind of in charge of the other acrobats. And she's tried to convince you to come and like join the troupe once or twice, and you're like, nah, I'm too lazy for that shit.
Yeah, Nate used to do a lot of acrobatics and understudy work for all sorts of things throughout a circus, but he's found what he's good at this point. So
Sure,
most
yeah.
of his skills there are just residual.
There you go, yeah. So you like outgrew it, and you tell her as much.
Oh yeah.
But so there's kind of a passing knowledge of each other. And you know he's the opening act that does it eats weird stuff, and you all kind of know about Devin because it's kind of hard to miss the guy that runs the horror show.
Yeah.
When you travel in a circus long enough, too, for those of you who are familiar with Ren Fair life and circus life, you know that your fellow performers and other even vendors, food people, you name it, you'll kind of become a family with all of your own little cliques and problems, and you may not know each other by name or even by your real names. You might know your in front of the circus crowd names, you know, that sort of thing. But there is a very much a tight-knit community of, like, as far as outsiders considered for your circus, they are beneath everybody within the circus that travels with it. Y'all are a family, you stick together, and for the most part, though there is some infighting here and there, most people within the circus get along fairly well. And it's kind of at this point where it's at the end of a long weekend. It's one of those weird holiday weekends where, who knows, maybe Lathander had some weird sun festival or something in the middle of the summer. But it's the... Did you get it working? Awesome. Okay, cool. Kids coming to tell me goodnight, so that's actually a really good point. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to tell her goodnight, like 5 minutes tops, and I'll be right back, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna power smoke. So
Yep, do it.
I'll have my phone with me. So just send a note on Discord when
Okay.
you're ready.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna figure out why my computer sound just went.
Oh boy, yeah, you are. You sound like you're on a phone.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing.
Okay. Yeah, sitting around the fire with you after this long weekend, just kind of drinking and doing the general, oh, you wouldn't believe some of the patrons I saw this weekend, and you know, that sort of thing. You're joined by a gnome named Cal, who he helps the cooks So he's usually back of house. So he's wearing an apron kind of covered in grease. He's got his cleaver just kind of stuck into the mud next to him. Directly across from him is actually a halfling woman by the name of Berry Bluther, who actually sells, as you might guess, berry pies at one of the stands. And then there's Sarek Bayleaf, and a half-elf man with a big scar across his face who never really talks much. And he's got a sword and shield resting up against his bench there. And he's just kind of quietly sitting in his cups, whereas Cal and Berry Bluther have been, talking with the rest of you. And it's about this point where I would like all of you to make a perception check, please.
Ooh, right off the bat.
Yeah.
Get my character sheet.
Hold on. I'm going to roll 2 dice first to decide which one I'm going to use for the night.
Sure.
The hot tasty 12 from Nate.
All right.
That one was a what? Okay, this is the one I'm using, not you. Perception, you said?
Mm-hmm.
23.
Oh, very nice. How about Devin? Ooh! Devin with a natural 1. Which is a total
I'm
of...
too busy
Starting
off
off
in my
strong.
head.
So,
Trying to
Devin
open
and
my
Nate don't see anything. However, Miss Ling Su, you catch the weirdest sound you've heard ever.
No.
It's been a long time since you've actually heard this sound. It's back when you had to do some eradicating. And as your eyes are drawn, I'm going to give you a little ruler drawing here. One moment. Maybe. I can find that ruler. Your eyes drawn, yep, right over here. Can you see that?
Uh-huh.
Excellent. Okay. And let me get back.
Is it
on.
right there at the corner of the tent, or is it further back?
Indeed, it is at the corner of the tent. You hear what is
Spooky.
distinctly goblin chuckling. And your eyes snap over there, and you see this hunched, angry-looking little goblin that is wielding a chipped cutlass, has a patch over one eye that's actually been turned up, and has this raggedy pair of shorts and a bandana on his head. And he was peeking around the tent at you when you just barely see him, and he notices he's been spotted, and he darts back behind the line of that tent.
Could I have made my noticing him stealthy?
Let's see. Go ahead and roll. I'm gonna say deception on this one,
Of course.
because it's like a body language kind of thing. you know?
Nat 20.
Oh shit! Yeah, he does not see you. Then he does not notice he's been noticed, and he is actually looking at Berry Bluther, who much like on the her little miniature there, she decks herself out with shiny things. You all know it to be costume jewelry, but this weird little goblin thing doesn't seem to know or care. But he is eyeing her hungrily.
Okay, I'm going to get up and stretch. Oh! And I don't suppose she has one of her pies with her, does she?
No, not at the moment.
Ah, damn. Well, I'll just kind of start strolling over her direction
Okay.
and try... Who's up here behind me?
Where? That's Nate. Can you not see his nameplate?
No.
Nope.
Interesting.
No, I can't see Nate, and I can't see Devon's either.
But you can
And
see
Nate
the
is
others.
reading through a book and tearing pages out and throwing them
Okay.
into the fire when he finishes them.
Nice.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to be trying to signal him behind my back.
Yes.
Not realizing he's, not paying attention that he's reading, but I'll try and...
That's all right.
Relatively observant.
His 12
yes.
will actually be enough to notice you signaling.
Okay.
And Devin, what are you up to? Since you're oblivious to the goings-on at the moment.
I'm just meditating.
Okay.
What did you need, Ling? About 5 more minutes in the cigar here, but I can What's up?
She'll turn to look at him and, well, I don't know what you're talking about. And she'll mouth to him. Well, you'll see her mouth. I don't know how, you know,
That doesn't
she's
translate well.
she's gonna mouth something to you, but
I get to make up whatever it is you said. Oh, yes, I understand. Yes, 3 tents are on fire currently.
Yeah. Oh, I meant
Yes, I
to point
know.
out this particular campfire bonfire is, in case it wasn't obvious, is set back in the employees only where the people live tents. Your big top and all of the attractions and everything are to your south and southeast. So carry on. I apologize.
that's okay. Can he have a chance of reading my lips?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just tell us what you're saying, and
I'm saying goblins.
Okay, you get it's very obvious goblins, and she kind of does like the thumb in front of her torso where they can't see it.
Yeah, exactly.
Make another perception check, this time with advantage, and that means you roll 2 d20s and take the greater of the 2 results.
I am familiar. Thank you very much.
No problem. I'm not sure exactly where everybody stands, so sometimes I may say what a rule is or something, especially first time with them in a session. So I apologize. I promise I don't think you're stupid.
Not a problem. I would much rather being too careful than not enough.
Indeed.
That is actually a natural 20.
Very
Woohoo!
nice. Okay, yeah.
Basically, I raise my eyebrows and I look around you and really sort of try to gaze into the darkness.
Yeah. You
I
start
am not being subtle about it.
you start picking out these other little eyes. Boop, boop, boop. From your vantage point, you can see.
And at that point, yeah, Nate's gonna immediately yell out, "Hey, you there!" and like stand up.
Okay.
He has a chair leg that he keeps, and he's by his side, and he picks it up and starts whacking it against like one of the trunk stools around the fire.
Sure, yeah. You see them all kind of start, but they like this one kind of like skitters back into the. I say this one, but the one over to the far east there kind of like skitters backwards behind the tent with his buddy. But it's at this point we're gonna go ahead and have everybody roll initiative. I'm gonna add turns real quick, so bear with me, so that way when you do use the
May I ask a question, Greg?
ask away.
I'm gathering since we just finished a show and we're just sitting around the campfire, we don't have any weapons or armor with us.
No, I will say that, especially given that this is our first session, and we're kind of the way I kind of see how your individual classes work within the circus. You're pretty much always equipped if you've been working if you've been working over the weekend. You are adventurers that work in a circus on the regular, and your adventures kind of come to you. This is how this will play out. So no worries, you're perfectly equipped. You're full out.
Okay. Okay, good. I
You
was
guys get
going
like an hour?
to say all I have is my carving knife, you know.
And then make sure everybody's got. Yep, cool. And then
For what it's worth, I've put on my character sheet. I have a like the chair leg that I mentioned. It is a club for all intents and purposes,
okay.
but no one carries around like that traditional sort of oblong-shaped wooden club. That's not a thing in real life. So.
Right, exactly. I like the chair leg though, because it's like just suited for it, especially if it's got the clawfoot bottom. So it's got the
Right.
perfect little handle, and then it's got the swell at the top. I haven't thought about this. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Oh, Ian, you can edit your initiative in the order there.
Should be able to. Yeah, you can click on the 0, and you can.
My character sheet was covering up. I didn't even notice.
Yeah, that's the only other downside is like, man, it's easy for your Roll20 to get cluttered. You can pop out some windows, but that, has the drawback of then you just have a bunch of windows.
Yeah, that's why I like having a paper character in front of me.
Here's my goblin page. There's
Oh
one
my
I need.
god, you mean I'm the highest?
Well, we'll see what the goblins roll.
Yeah.
Here, D20.
It's not my fault. I rolled an 8.
Hey, no, that's okay. That's what I rolled.
Goblins got Solid 10. So now let's do this descending.
Yep.
And to begin the battle, Miss Ling. We'll go ahead and...
Okay. These guys obviously don't look like they're up to any good.
You notice they are definitely all dressed similarly.
Okay, I'm going to move to there.
And it occurs to you as the battle kind of commences, they grit their nasty yellow teeth and draw their cutlasses and come stomping toward you. You're in a landlocked city right now. Like...
They look like pirates.
Yeah, you're 3 weeks from any ocean. And it occurs to all of you about the same time, like, wait a minute.
Why?
I mean, goblins are known for being very stupid.
I am going to put an arrow into my bow.
Okay.
And I'm going to be aiming it at... I don't. Which one's closer? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Probably the one to your south.
5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. Okay. So I will have an arrow aimed at him.
Excellent.
And I am waiting for his reaction. I mean, when he moves, I'm gonna. I figured because if he moves, he's going to bring up his sword and whatever to come at me. So when he does that, that's when I'm going to fire at him.
Okay. So you're going to hold your shot until he approaches. Got it?
Yes.
Any bonus action or anything while you're still in your initiative?
No, I don't believe so. Okay. For once, all of my spells are actions.
All right. On to Nate Kennedy.
Nate sighs deeply to himself and trudges begrudgingly over towards the goblins. He just keeps yelling at them.
Come on, get out of here.
This is not the place for you. Get out of here. Partly to try to scare them off, but partly to draw attention of others close by. So he just... urgency moves towards the rest of them. He seems to not take this very seriously.
Okay.
That's my. That's going to be my. I mean, I suppose because I just moved, I could hold my action.
Yeah.
So
if
I'll
you
go ahead and do that in case one.
Yeah, one approaches.
Up to me, I'm going to go ahead and whack it at that point. But until then, I'm not too worried.
Sure. What's up?
I'd like to. I forgot. I wanted to move Odo, but I don't have control of him.
No problem.
But I just wanted him to go to Miss Berry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he's just kind of lounging by the fire.
Yeah, I just want him to kind of protect her, kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah, he'll kind of slink over there, flops back down in the fire by her. He doesn't seem to care either. He seems to be following Nate's example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's hit lazy ferret mode.
There.
That's fine.
All right, the goblin's turn. So, indeed, this stupid little cutlass-wielding goblin will approach. Miss Ling, take your shot.
All right.
And his friend is actually going to come running up to attack Nate, so Nate will get his attack first.
Yeah, that's a 10.
A 10 to hit? No, this little nimble pirate goblin dodges away from your swipe.
Damn.
And
the other guy... Well, wait a minute. You moved the other guy. Could I have a chance of hitting him because he was right behind the first one?
Nope. You said if one approaches you.
Yeah.
However,
yeah.
Nate does get a swing at the one that comes to him before either one of them get their
I
actions.
sure do. And as a monk, when I take an attack action, I get 2 attacks, not just 1, even at level 1.
Yep.
What the hell is
Flurry of
doing?
blows.
One of them, for sure, definitely misses with a hot 2.
Yep.
The other one gets me a 20.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a hit.
Crack down on him with the chair leg right across the face for a grand total of 6 damage.
Very nice. Yeah, you. This one, when you hit him, the club, like you said, connects with the side of his head. You feel the solid thunk. Incredibly real. He spits out a gold tooth, but as he hits the ground, And
I'm
what
going
you
to
assume
remember
would
where
be-
that falls.
Yeah, and the gold tooth is easy. Like, that one actually stays. But as the goblin himself hits the ground, apparently dead from the blow, he just kind of dissolves into this splash of obviously briny water and is gone.
Well, I was sort of regarding them like most people do, like a cricket in their house, but that sort of raises some eyebrows.
So yeah, the other one will swing his cutlass at Miss Ling. And let's see, does a... Where is my to hit thing? Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. There it is. Does a 14 hit Miss Ling's armor class? Sarah, are you muted?
Yes and no.
No, 14 does not, so he misses you. The others come bounding out to join their ally. Da-da-dun-da-da-dun-da-da-dun-dun-dun. That's as far as they can get.
There's so many more.
Oh yes, so
Yeah.
many more.
There's one on the other side of camp, too.
This one
Oh,
comes for Cal,
map around a little bit.
and then I actually have a few others to reveal. Seeing as it's their turn now, they're gonna take the initiative and spring out. And the last two. Seemingly coming from down the path, closer to the main grounds there, you see the last couple come like filtering in, and they had been kind of hiding behind this stone, and they move up. Let me measure real quick. I'll make sure I don't overdo it. I'm gonna start from those guys and see there. Yep, that works. Let me look at the square again before I forget. Middle of the path. They're gonna have to double move to get to you. Oh, there's 30.
Close to Cal. We need to knock him down. Cal's my only pinochle partner.
These kind of
I
squeeze
simply will not do.
between the tent. Very nice. And this one follows up with Cal. These three seem...
He's boned.
Maybe. We'll see. Cal seems to be... he's just kind of sitting there, still got his back to him, doesn't really see them coming. So at least the two that get to him will have advantage. Oof, that's a 19 to hit. That one will definitely hit. The other one does not.
I'm gonna get a lightning bolt for a couple levels here, but if you could really pull one out, that would be choice. There's 4 lined up.
Cal will take a mere 4 points of damage. And he lets out the growl that can only come out of an extremely frustrated and angry cook after a very long and busy weekend. And he turns around and just glares angrily. The stubble of 3 days without shaving is still littering his face. Just glares angrily at this goblin who kind of steps back. He's got a hook in one hand. Not actually like replacing his hand, just holding a hook in one hand. And he's got a little scimitar in the other one. This one, these two close to Sarek Bayleaf, attempt to attack him. Sarek sees them coming, though, so no advantage for them. And Sarek's armor class is a little too high. It just barely connects, but it only glances off with glances off of his leather armor. I did not give Sarek, Cal, or Barry a turn. That was my fault. We're gonna roll their initiatives real quick. Descending again. Okay.
Wow.
So Sarek will have to wait till the top of next initiative because he rolled so high. And that's
what he
gets.
gets.
I got to work through the. There we go. Back to that. And then back to. There's. Yeah, the other one missed him. That's right. And then the other ones have not made it to Barry yet. So that is it for the goblin's turn. On to Devrin Dvark. Dvark? I probably said the last name wrong.
Ark?
Yeah, Dvark. Yeah.
Like dark, but with an edgy V in there.
That's right.
Yeah. Is he here?
I see him keep turning green, but I don't hear him. Oh no!
Oh no, did we lose him again? he's typing.
I think he can hear us.
That would have been the worst case scenario.
Right? Square, you get, each square is 5. So if your movement's 30, you get 6 of them.
Better be 5, otherwise that's like a 30 foot wide fire, and that'd just be wild.
Something's going on! Yeah.
So
Even I'm still a little skeptical of the size of that bonfire, but I was like, I guess if you count like where you really shouldn't stand if there's a fire, fair enough.
I guess that's got to be what it is, because like that's gigantic.
Yeah,
otherwise,
like, the logs are huge, that not to scale.
I'm going to. So Devin basically just opens an eye, sees a whole bunch of goblins that are suddenly around. Sighs, shakes his head, stands up, just kind of walks up to behind where Cal is.
Mm-hmm.
Asks him kind of politely to move.
Oh, Cal?
Yes.
Okay.
Move or it's going to hurt.
Okay. So if you'd like to hold your action until he moves for you, then that's an option for you. And
That's fine.
You could see he is immediately going to comply. He's just like, oh yeah, that creepy dude's coming to help, sure. And he, as soon as it hits his turn, he will step back, and you can go ahead and take your action now.
Well, as I was walking up, if Cal noticed, my hand was kind of on fire.
Nice.
it's a binary. It either is or is not.
I'm casting burning hands on the wave of goblins in front of me.
Sure, yeah. Okay. And that's a 15-foot cone.
Capture markers.
Yep, does all. And they have to make, what, dex saving throw?
Very cool. Okay. Yeah, this is the kind of the radius. So those 3 straight in front of you. All right, so they get to make dex saving throws.
I'd forgotten that had a cone effect and wasn't just a single touch.
Right.
He found the petroleum jelly.
How? That was up high. Damn it, child. Should be 15.
15. All right. So one of them makes it. It's the one at the very back. The other 2 will take full damage. So go ahead and roll damage. I think. Yeah. Nice. Okay.
Damn,
15. Jeez. Yeah, these first 2 are just utter toast. And the last one takes half of that and is just barely hanging on. Like, for meta speak, he's got 1 hit point left.
Yeah.
I'm going to tint him a little bit to show that he is...
Immersion.
Yeah, he's just bloody. Where's the tint? That's what I was looking for. Boom.
So he's either bloody or running around screaming.
Yeah, he's singed to a good crisp, and he's looking at you in utter fear at this point. The other goblins kind of do the same thing, like when they see the fire come out, and their friends turn to ash at first, and then as the ashes hit the ground, you notice they leave these little weird wet spots. And let's see here.
That's not what ashes are supposed to do.
All right. And did you have anything else, like a bonus action? I meant to ask that.
I do not have an.
Wow. Ouch.
No, that's one action. Yeah, can you tell he's hyper?
Yeah.
He hasn't had a nap today.
Yikes.
I don't know where he gets his energy from.
All right. So Cal is going to step back away from the fire both fires a little bit more, and ends up kind of next to this goblin who had been picking on Sarek and has now turned his eyes onto Barry because of her glittery stuff, and he just swings his butcher's cleaver, and with it, the 19 on the die, with a mighty thunk, just plants it right in between this goblin's eyes. And as the goblin tilts backwards and hits the ground, he leaves this little splash, and this little, like, tiny, like barely bigger than the palm of your hand crab comes skittering out of the water and runs off into the shadows.
Don't take that into someone's tent.
And that'll be it for Cal's turn. Barry Bluther will kind of stop in her, finally mid-sentence, because she had been going on and on about this one person that came to bother her today. And she sees these goblins come stomping in, and the one that Cal just kind of killed, she watched him do it and was like, "What's going on?" And she like hops over her little log stool and just plants the biggest, meatiest, dough-poundingest fist right in this other goblin's face. Just like fistful of costume jewelry. Thunk. There's a little puff of flour because she hasn't taken a shower yet. And let's see. Yeah, she definitely hits him. How much damage? So not enough to kill him, but she definitely like spins him around in a circle. And that'll be it for his turn. Sarek grunts and stands up, hefts his shield and swings his own scimitar, which is much cleaner and nicer looking, at this goblin. And everybody make a perception check real quick as far as Sarek is concerned. As he kills this goblin, he lops its head off with seemingly ease, and it goes spinning off into the dirt and becomes water like the rest.
12.
Nate doesn't see a damn thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just at 12.
Alrighty.
My concentration is elsewhere.
You have 3 little greenskins around you.
That's fair, yeah. And how about you, Devin? Perception check. Is it just a free one? Doesn't cost an action or anything?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Ling, you catch it for a second, but it might have just been a trick of the light or something. You could have sworn you saw Sarek roll his eyes as he stood up and then killed that goblin. Like, almost like he was like, not again, oh my god. And it is back to you.
He's been in the circus for many years too, I can tell.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes, well, I am going to reach out to touch the goblin to the south of me.
Okay. His name is Faith. Reach out and touch Faith. Sorry.
Poor guy.
I was thinking, reach out and touch someone.
I
I
was in
take
high
it.
school with a name like Faith.
I
Right.
take a 25 will hit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, just
He's nimble, but he's not that nimble.
he takes a 5-point shocking grasp.
Oh, yeah. He did not like that. His skin is all blackened, and there's that weird lictograph, kind of coming up from the wound. Anything else? I deleted my turn. Holder, whoops.
No, I don't think so, because I am kind of surrounded. I guess I'll change to my sword.
Okay. And on to the Gerblins. They had a 10, right? Isn't that what they had?
Uh-huh.
Okay, cool. I accidentally deleted
Done.
the turn holder, so...
Well, I think
It would be Nate first then.
Sarek's, I think.
Oh, yeah, it
disappeared.
would. Sorry. I put that out of order.
Yeah, but
So, yes.
Sarek, I think, is missing on there now.
Yeah, because he had the bench. That's correct. Put him back on 17.
Which is a model and such.
All right. On to Nate.
I realize it's unconventional, but you don't get if you don't ask. This might be the only time Nate gets the opportunity to throw a goblin into another goblin. Is that something we can arrange?
Absolutely. Basically, for something like that, you're going to attempt a grapple, and that's pretty much just a strength athletics check versus their strength athletics check. So you
Got
just,
it, mister.
Yeah, so you just make that check and tell me the result.
It's not bad. It is athletics, you said?
Yes.
Cool. That is a 15.
Very nice. Yeah, he actually rolled a 16 and he's got a -2 on that. So
Nice.
you are able to grapple him, and so long as he remains grappled after his turn, on your next turn, you will absolutely be able to throw him as an action. So for now, you have him restrained.
Test.
There he is.
Good test.
Hello.
Good test. Yep.
Got my Micah computer to work. Haha.
Oh. Fair.
Yay.
Anything else for Nate?
Yeah, that was his move and action, so we're all set.
Excellent. All right. So the goblins' turns. These two just immediately swipe for Miss Ling, and I have a 15 and a 17.
They both hit.
Both hit. Okay. So you will take. How many d6s? 7 points of slashing damage. And then the goblin with Nate will attempt to...
That was 7 total for the 2?
Yes, 7 total for 2. 5 and 2. I don't know if you have any damage
Okay.
reduction or anything. And that's something else about me, just as a quick meta DM factoid. While I've been DMing and playing Dungeons and Dragons for a little over 10 years now, I have not been playing 5th Ed for very long at all, and I have not read everything. So unless I've played the class, aka Paladin or Druid so far, then I don't really know a whole lot about it. So I trust you to know your class and stuff like that. And so you may come across things while we're playing where I'm like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. If you think less of me as a DM, sorry, but I don't have the focus to sit down and read through these source books, much as I love them.
Understandable.
Anyway.
Yeah.
The one on Barry Bluther. Yeah, the one that tried to escape the grapple rolled an 8 minus his 2, so 6. He's not going anywhere. Actually, with that, go ahead and make a strength athletics check to oppose him, Nate. I forgot it actually. I don't know if it's
a total of 20.
Oh yeah, more than enough. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. And then the one on Barry Bluther. We'll attempt to swipe. Why did I roll damage first? Bad bard. Ooh, that's only a 6 on the die. That's not gonna get you there, buddy. Other nearby ones are dead. These 3. This one looks at Devin in utter fear and bolts. He just kind of like scrambles over his buddy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Starts trying to run. These two do the very comedic look at each other and go opposite directions as they try and run. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And from here, you can all, without even a check, see this one right here down in the center. Pull out, he's the only one that's got one out of his crappy little leather belt, pulls out a single shot pistol and just points it shakily back at the party as these two start fleeing. So he like weirdly stands his ground as the other two just take off and disappear off the map entirely. Does anybody speak Goblin?
No.
So he goes, "Rada, rada, rada." And yeah, that's that's about it. Devin.
I'm not sure what you just said, but I'm taking offense to it.
But we didn't put up any fences.
And I'm going to Eldritch Blast him.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Roll to hit. Oh, damn.
Wow.
He took the full defense as his action. He just kind of drew the pistol, just as a part of his movement, but took the full defense to stand there as his action, which gave him a big bonus to his AC. I think it's a +5 when you take the dodge action. And that still hit him. Yeah,
Actually,
roll damage.
I was saying, I think it's supposed to be +5, not +7, but still it's a 20.
Yeah.
That part's
Yeah, the Eldritch Blast hits him, and for you, it's just force damage, right? Okay.
Yep.
I've got some other Warlock players where it's like force and necrotic sometimes. It might be at higher levels or something. But yeah, this force beam hits him, and the goblin and all of his gear just turns into a giant pile of sand. Like, it goes through him. The water doesn't even happen. It's just dry, crystalline white beach sand that just sprinkles to the ground there. Let me delete his mini. He's actually a turn holder, so ignore him in the woods over here. He's not real. Pretty sure he's the turn holder. Yep.
nice.
So, anything else, Devin?
I just kind of shake my head and look at the rest of everyone else and the other goblins, and just kind of give them that look of anyone else.
Right. All right, Cal's turn. He'll step up and next to Barry there and help her out. Attempt to anyway, make a swing. That's only an 8 on the die, so he actually misses. And that'll be it for him. Barry will take another haymaker swing at the goblin in front of her. That's only a 4 on the die. What's happening, D20? On to Sarek. Let's see if the half-elf warrior swing is a little bit better. We're just working our way down, huh? Natural 1. Okay.
Oh, good lord.
So Sarek accidentally swings a little too short and sticks the edge of his scimitar in Cal's calf. Ooh, and does 6 points of damage to him.
Ow.
Cal goes, like, just falls down. He's not dead or anything. He just falls down on the ground holding his calf like, ow! Son of a bitch! Learn how to swing that thing! And that'll do it for him. Miss Ling, back to you.
Yep. Short sword. Still working on that guy to the south.
The one Nate has grappled now?
Oh.
Yeah,
No,
Nate kind of
please
grappled.
don't. I need that.
Please don't. I need that.
Yeah, no.
For aerodynamic
no.
reasons.
No. I'll turn and go to the one to the north.
Very nice.
And that is a 17.
Oh yeah, that's a hit.
So that is 9 points of damage.
Very nice. And yeah, that just... You turn around and plant the short sword right through his rib cage, right into his heart. And he does a very, very over-dramatic grabbing, says something in Goblin and looks at you with tears in his eyes. Rada, yeah, and then just dies, tongue lolling out, on just still stuck on your short sword, like...
No, to you too. And I'll kick him off. As a bonus action, I'll just, like, slide off the sword.
Yeah. Just gonna unsheath your sword again, yep.
Yep.
In the, what is it? Zilch the Tory Stellar fashion.
Yes, exactly.
On to Nate.
I would like to bring the goblin who I have grappled to his sweet deliverance against the other goblin.
Yeah.
With extreme prejudice. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that.
Sure. So I have a quick question for you. Did you perhaps take the brawler feat? I think is what it was called.
He's level 1, honey.
Oh, I know.
I
you can.
I did not.
feats. Okay.
As a monk.
Oh, you can?
Well, yeah, you
Interesting.
can get a feat at level 1, but as a
Oh,
monk,
cool.
I don't really. There's very little benefit to getting it.
Okay. So essentially, your goblin will count as an improvised weapon, which means you don't get to use your proficiency bonus. But since you are so bodily hurling it, I will let you choose strength or dexterity as far as your ability that you're using on your...
I'm a dex man all the way.
All right, so use your dex to sling that tiny goblin body into another tiny goblin body. And I'll let you pick. You can pick the one in front of Barry or the one directly, like, right there.
To me, dude, I'm strong, but not that strong.
Okay.
average, but not a great deal.
Sure.
It is a very satisfying 17.
Oh yeah, that's enough. I'd set the DC at 15 for that because it's a little bit tough to swing around a living creature. But you you nail it. You've got him like grappled in a full Nelson, and in one swift movement, you let go with one arm, grab him by the ankle, and just swing him in a complete, like, I guess 3/4 circle all the way around counterclockwise, and just bat the other one. Go ahead and roll. Let's see. You're swinging a creature that has 2d6 hit dice. So roll 2d6 damage and add your strength modifier to it.
What D&D is for, right?
What's that?
This is what D&D is for. This is the
Absolutely.
reason
Oh yeah.
the game exists. That's 9 damage, I believe, to each of them.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely. You do 9 damage, and they're like, it's such a perfect, counterclockwise swing that as you bring them around, like, they get that split second of looking at each other in horror before their heads collide, and both you and Miss Ling are suddenly coated in briny water as the two of them just explode into nothingness.
That part I'm not as wild about, because I don't like being wet, but are there any gold teeth that fall out?
Let's see. As a matter of fact, everybody go ahead and make perception
I'm
checks
very
for
interested
this.
in those.
Yeah. Devin, you see 2 gold teeth.
Man, 20, I'm rolling hot.
Very nice. You see.
I rolled a 10.
You see 8 gold teeth that, like, one brush, you have to brush one off your shoulder. And they're goblin teeth, so they're like horse teeth almost. These things are big.
No, I'll hold on to them.
Sure,
Gold.
And Miss Ling, you find, what was your perception, Ling?
10.
10? That's fine. You find 5 gold teeth yourself.
Ooh, 5 gold teeth. All right. 5 gold teeth.
This last one in front of Barry realizes suddenly that he is very alone, and attempts to run, giving Barry and Cal both attacks of opportunity. Both of which hit. So Barry sweeps the leg, and Cal just follows as this little goblin hits his back, or hits his belly as he tries to run away. Cal just follows up by planting the cleaver right in the back of his skull, just thunk, and it again turns to briny water. And it's at this point that all of you hear the unmistakable sound of incredibly close cannon fire. And as you all look up, your beloved Big Top takes 2 hits to the top, catches on fire, and starts to collapse. And in the licking of the flames, you see, impossibly, 3 masts of a massive, well, I guess massive for a goblin, of a massive ship that has just plopped itself to the west of your Big Top. And we're going to take a quick break. Right there. So let's take 10-15 minutes if you want to smoke, use the restroom, grab a drink, that sort of thing.
Can I mention something to you,
Absolutely.
Greg?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Just about Odo.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of helps me in my thievery.
Okay.
Did you ever see the show Beastmaster?
Oh, God. Sorbo, years ago, right?
No, it wasn't Sorbo, but that's okay. You get the idea. He had 2, Odo and Poto. Okay? And they were, anything shiny they would pick up. They were like magpies.
Oh, very nice. Oh, you're right. It wasn't, I'm sorry. I was confusing it with the Hercules of the same era. But yes, I liked Beastmaster, what I saw when it was on.
Daniel Goodwin or something like that. But anyway.
Andre, oh, well.
But that's where I'm basing this Odo off of. He's as much of a thief as I am.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, Odo will pick up, that being said, in his lazy state behind, rolled a 1. Oh, well, he only got 1d6, but in his lazy state there behind Barry Bluther, he will have found 1 extra tooth.
Oh, cool.
He's just kind of like, he's just digging this stretched out next to the fire thing.
Yeah.
It's his favorite thing in the world. So he like sees this tooth come close to him, and he cannot, you see his eyes dilate, and he can't resist his scrabble.
If he steals any of my teeth, I'm going to give him the goblin treatment. I just care
No,
about that.
Vin is very good about checking his hoard and giving things back to Vin. Sorry, wrong character. Vin is very good about going through his hoard and
Returning
making
things
sure,
to circus members.
yeah, and returning things to people.
Okay, I'm going to start my 10-minute timer now. I'll be back shortly. Okay, so just a real quick overview. Obviously, this is not the most professional artist rendition. This is something I drew with a Sharpie in a couple of minutes, a few hours ago. Just to give you a general idea, it's not necessarily to scale. As a matter of fact, it's definitely not. The big top is much, much bigger. But for the sake of what we're doing this evening, this will work. So you've got the big top, which again is not at all to scale these things. The campground spans probably a good acre by itself. The big top by itself as well, also about an acre in size to contain the entire shows and all of the bleachers and room for the elephant. Two-Tusk the elephant, the only elephant in the show. But the elephant and the other strange beasts that come and go from the stables. Obviously, our stables and our campgrounds are back here, and the office is in kind of a Vistani wagon type thing. And our dotted line represents our actual privacy fences that you have that separate the employees only from the normies that come and go from your show. You've got your Tent of Wonder over here, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. The stables are a little self-explanatory, same with this petting zoo. The souvenir stand here outside the big top, there is this weird little autonomous, I guess technically it'd be a warforged, but it looks like a little robot person. Doesn't really ever speak, it just takes payment and gives away and sells these little trinkets. Some of them are made by people in the company, much like Miss Ling. She does some of her wood carvings there. And as you can see in the lower left there, to the vendors and the food and other shows are down that direction. So Devon's attraction would be that way. All of this looks otherwise normal, aside from the two big flaming holes in the top of the big top. And spouting from the Tent of Wonder is this, again, massive for a goblin ship. It's got 3 masts. It's got 2 big cannons that are sticking out of the, I guess that'd be starboard, the left hand facing the big top side. The aft of the ship, the port is left. Yeah, that's right. Starboard's right. And the aft of the ship is actually blocking off this Tent of Wonder entrance. It seems like it has just exploded out. As a matter of fact, the dirt is pushed away from the bow. On the bowsprit of this ship is this very lewd, obviously goblin woman with just massive tits, completely topless, and she's got wings to, give some semblance of looking like an angel. And I guess to a goblin, she's a very beautiful, carving for a bowsprit. Not the most attractive thing. And up on the top mast is this massive, and it is massive. It's probably at least twice as tall as you and 4 times as long as you if you were to lay down alongside it. Dominating the entire ship is just this massive Jolly Roger skull and crossbones, but it's a goblin skull. Screaming from atop the topmost deck, you can see this big fat goblin with a huge tricorn hat, missing both legs. He's got peg legs, and he's got a hook on one hand. He actually does require that hook because he doesn't have a hand, and in his other hand is wielding the nicest looking scimitar you've seen so far. And he's about here on the map. You also can tell, not only is the big top on fire, but the stables, that you can hear the horses and the other animals kind of losing their minds, and you're not sure, because from your standpoint, you can't really tell what's going on over there. Same thing with sounds from the petting zoo, but it's slightly different sounds. It sounds like merrymaking. You can hear people clinking, not people, but goblins clinking their flagons all the way from over here. The petting zoo is full of drunk goblins, is the short version. Something's going on at the stables. The big top is on fire, and this massive ship is sticking out of the Tent of Wonder. And to tell you about the Tent of Wonder, it's another attraction, much like Devon's haunted house, if you will, haunted show. The Tent of Wonder is this collection of various, would you believe it or not, kind of things, wax sculptures. It's a Ripley's knockoff in D&D world, stuck in the Tent of Wonder. And I would like everybody, real quick, as you come jogging up or running, whatever your pace may be, make a just a straight wisdom check. And tell me the result. And one other note, as you had peeled away from the campsite, Barry Bluther stayed back with Cal to help tend to his wounds. Sarek mumbled a kind of half-hearted apology to Cal. You get a very, very quiet sorry. And then the only other thing you've heard him say in the last week, after he heard the cannon fire and saw the big top start to kind of catch, was him go, "Oh, fuck, not again," and take off at a dead sprint, so he's actually ahead of you as you come out of the campgrounds. Otherwise, feel free to change your marching order and such there. I'm going to move Barry Bluther and Cal back a little bit, because they're not going to be joining us. And we can
I rolled a 9.
A 9.
8 from Nate.
Okay.
Yeah, I got an 8, so.
All right. There's something about this ship, the ship itself. You don't recognize any of the goblins. You have no idea where the hell they came from. But the ship itself looks familiar, especially the bowsprit, but you cannot figure out where or why you've seen it. Sarek seems to know exactly what's going on, but being a man of very few words, he hasn't said anything else except for "oh fuck, not again," and sprinting toward the big top. So at this point, I would like everybody to, while I get some tokens back out on the board, let me see. Everybody go ahead and let's roll some new initiative. And the goblins, I'll take them off of there.
Oh, come on.
So we're on initiative?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, our names left the order.
Did they? Oh, probably because I copy-pasted. Hold on, I had to copy-paste your minis, so I'll have to add turns from this thing again. Whoop. Hold on.
Then goes just, whenever he wants.
Right. We'll do add turn. Come on, right-click. Work with me here, computer. Add turn. And Odo, I'm going to put... Odo's going to stay at the camp, if that's okay with you. Unless you need him for battle.
I would not bring him into battle. I'd be telling him to hide anyway. Or, no. Wait a minute. He's a familiar. I can see through his eyes, right?
That's a good question.
I believe that's... Yeah, and that's not a given anymore with familiars in 5th.
Yeah, I think it's only a wizard thing, yeah.
Ability.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me look up this.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty debilitating when you use it, too.
Yeah, because when you do it, it basically you transfer your, not consciousness, but you transfer all of your senses over to them, and so your body can no longer see or hear or anything like that.
While your familiar is in within 100 feet of you, you can communicate with it telepathically.
Yeah.
Additionally, as an action, you can hear through your familiar's eyes and sees what it hears until the start of my next turn.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is like.
It does during this time you're deaf and blind with regard to.
Do you have to be within 100 feet for that part to work, or no? I
assume it doesn't say.
Yeah. If that's ambiguous, I'm going to say no for that part. You'll still be able to use that action. You're well without of 100 feet, but you'll still be able to use that obviously as an action. I've seen Matt Mercer use that like over great distances. So I'm cool with that being aware of everything.
What I'd like him to do is like run over and peek in on the stables.
Oh, okay.
Obviously keeping unseen, but I want to use the eyes and ears thing, so when he gets there, I can take a peek and see what's going on.
And he will absolutely come with you.
But I will move forward whenever it's my turn and do that.
You should be able to control his token now. And let me double check the monster manual for... I don't know if ferrets have an actual entry. They might. You never know.
If not, it should be under weasel.
Weasel, maybe. Yeah. I'll just find out what their movement is. There's giant weasel. Nope.
No giant weasel. I couldn't fit that in a pouch.
Weasel. They have a movement of 30 feet. So, you're able to move him. I can't see his nameplate either. That's weird. Oh, well. But you're able to move him and put him wherever on your turn, so we'll have that happen. Sarek needs to roll his initiative. Sarek has a +5, so he goes first. And I need to get Gerblins.
Lots and lots of goblins. Jeez, how many of them are there?
You've
I
got,
mean, different kinds. Different kinds.
Well, I'm setting
Got
it up
4 of them?
as 4 separate things. You got the captain, and then 3 separate groups of goblins.
Gotcha.
And they're groups of 2 groups of 3 and 1 group of 2. Wow, okay. So the cannoneers literally rolled a 1 on their initiative. The nervous goblins got a 9, so that's
Is that a bird up by the office?
Yes, that is my bird's eye view, and that is my quote-unquote character that I use to be able to see what you see on my recording equipment.
Oh, that'd do it. That's kind of cool.
Thanks.
It's Odin's Raven.
What's that?
I said it's Odin's Raven.
Exactly.
And the grumpy goblins, they have, though they're not grumpy, they're actually the opposite of. D6s do not initiative make, Bard. What are you doing? That's funny. Nope, that should be a 4. And then we're going to do descending. Looks like Sarek has the top of the initiative. So Sarek is going to... He comes kind of running up to the big top. Looks to see who followed. And kind of gives all 3 of you a curt nod and just runs along the edge of the big top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and goes inside, from what you can tell. He just runs, and let me draw. I'm going to go ahead and do this with like a red. I'll do it with a brown line so you can see. And I'm going to freehand it because it's easier that way. That's not brown. Thanks, machine. Put that here.
Yeah, just FYI, I cannot see the bottom part of the map because I cannot move it. And
What do you
our
mean?
faces are in the way.
Oh, well, you should be able to zoom out a little bit. The bottom part, it cuts off like right underneath where it says petting zoo. And for your faces, if you need to move those or turn those off on your right-hand side with the, where your chat and everything is, upper right-hand corner is your gear box, or the little gear button. You can click that, scroll all the way down, and it's the second from the bottom drop down where it says player avatar size. And you can change that as much as you like there. You can make it large, small, names only even.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, now I can move it for some reason. What the heck? Never mind.
All right, and to think for a second. Yeah, so he goes, and that's it for his turn. Devin, to you, sir.
I just kind of look at the ship and grin a little bit as an idea to just kind of incite a little chaos on it. So I'm going to move up. Actually, I think I can move from here. If it's still 5 feet per square.
Yep, absolutely. I know this isn't to scale, but we're still gonna say 5 feet per square because it's the easy thing to do.
I'm going to just move up to here and cast a minor illusion as close to the ship as I can. It's just kind of parked there, right? It's not floating or anything.
Yeah, it's just it's like the keel of that ship is just like embedded in the dirt. It looks like it exploded out of the entrance of the Tent of Wonder just into the ground there. So what's your illusion gonna be?
Oh, the head of a demon lord is going to just kind of pop up over the side of the side of the ship, just grinning and growling at him.
Okay, let's see here. Bear with me.
I was going to say, if you need reference.
That'll work. I found it. Whoops. I found a nice little mini that I can... does it say how big it can be? Your illusion.
No larger than a 5-foot cube.
Okay, cool. So I won't make that any bigger. I'm gonna zoom in on it just for giggle's sake, so people can see it. But
So he's a little demon lord.
it's
Yeah.
just the head,
Yeah.
and I could see like a 5-foot head, kind of like the what do you call it, the beholders from World of Warcraft that just float there above you, and they're massive.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, something like that is just like floating and looking at this guy in the face. All right, and that's the minor illusion spell you said.
Yeah, just a minor illusion.
Okay. I need to refresh my memory. That's actually one of the things I've been meaning to do, so I'm going to read that real quick.
He put it up in the chat.
Oh, he did. Excellent. Cool. Yeah, sorry, I am on a different tab, so I didn't see that. All
No,
right.
you're fine.
Sound or image lasts for the duration, not concentration. Excellent. Also ends if you dismiss it as an action or cast the spell again. Create a sound. Image of an object. Chair, muddy footprint, small chest. No larger than a 5-foot cube. Image cannot create sound, light, smell, or any other sensory effect. Physical interaction reveals it to be an illusion because creature passed through it. Examine the sound or image. Determine if it's an illusion. Successful intelligence. Okay. Against your DC. The creature discerns the illusion for what it is. Illusion becomes faint to the creature. All right. Make an intimidate check with advantage, please.
Alrighty.
Oh, shit. Very nice. Yeah, that 24 will definitely do it. Let's see. The captain is going to use one of his legendary actions to make that saving throw instead of fail it. The cannoneers, on the other hand, are both afraid for their lives now, and sprint away from the cannons and away from that demon head at top speed. And I need a good fear thing, or they will on their turns, I should say. That you can tell fear has filled their eyes. The captain sees it and goes, "Ah!" and just kind of stands there for a second, but then seems to regain his resolve and barks something at the other two.
Alrighty.
Anything else for you?
That's it.
All right. On to the nervous goblin's turn. Let's see. They have to do a thing. Natural 1, natural 5, natural 17. So he will have just straight on his saving throw. The other two will have disadvantage, and they all save. You hear a very distinct as two tusks absolutely destroys a couple of goblins all on his own, and you hear and 1, 2. Fence is going to be double. Passing through a fence is double movement, we'll say that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At this point, you see this one covered a little bit in the gore from his friends.
Oh, there he is.
Come running up away from the stables, followed by... Oh, crap, now I need a token for that. Whoops, hold on. Oh, good, there is one. Not nearly big enough. There we go. Followed closely by a very angry Two Tusks that has a couple of ropes dangling from his neck that apparently this goblin and a few others, the two stuck to his front feet right now, had been holding on to. And he just, Two Tusks just like barrels through the fence and comes after this last little goblin.
Are these ones sticking around? They're not dissolving?
Good point. That's actually, as your eyes kind of fall upon it, that's a very good point. The gore kind of dissolves into various shells and seawater and that sort of thing.
Okay.
I just got a little ahead of myself with enjoying Two Tusks stomping goblins into jelly.
Yes.
Let's see. Find.
Always a good thing.
Right.
Go Two
There we
Tusks.
go. Oh, that's
It's extra hate tonight.
Oh, that's a premium asset. I can't use that. That'll actually work pretty nicely. Use him as a... If the mini will show up. There he is. That's gonna be George's mini for now.
Okay.
So it is your turn, Miss Ling Su.
Oh.
I accidentally deleted that little goblin's turn, but Captain.
I'll attack him from behind.
I don't remember what the captain's initiative was.
I hope
now.
I don't upset two tusks.
You're attacking him from behind. Okay, no problem.
No, he can turn to face, you know.
Oh, he's definitely got his eyes on the elephant.
Okay, well then I'm not behind him, just to his side.
Okay.
19.
19's definitely a hit. This goblin is wearing a loincloth and has like little rope bracers, but that's it.
Okay, 6 points.
6 points of damage, yeah. You punch him and his head caves inwards around your fist and he becomes water as well. It's about this time that the door to this Vistani wagon opens up and this very short, fat and balding man comes out, the little pince-nez spectacles on the end of his nose, looks around and goes, "What the hell? What's going on? What the fuck?" And it just looks at you because you're the nearest employee. He's like, "Ling! Ling!" He's just yelling your name.
I'll just turn to it. Well, I'm facing him already. I'll just... she'll just shrug and go, "Pirates?"
We're 3 weeks from the ocean! What the fuck? For those wondering, this is George Costanza, your manager. And yes, he looks pretty much exactly like George Costanza. So Ling punches a pirate goblin into...
No, short sword.
Short sword, I'm sorry.
I wouldn't do that. I wish I could do that much with my fist, but you know.
She slashes a pirate goblin with her short sword, and anything else? Or that do it?
I've moved, and no bonus, and... Oh, there he is. Odo. I'll just move Odo, so that he's, like, with me here.
Cool. And then on to Nate.
Nate takes a moment. He looks at the tent and the ship, and he just sort of stares at it agape for a bit. And he runs his hand through his hair in distress and realizes he's got to do something. He runs. He takes his full turn to run all the way to the ship, and he actually tries to close that distance fully, and he slams his back up to the side of the ship, hoping he is not noticed.
Excellent. All right. Will that do it for your turn?
Yes, because that was a double move.
Double move for you. Okay. All right. So now on to the drinking and carousing goblins, which go about doing their thing. Now that you're down at this kind of this vantage point, Nate, you can very clearly see the goblins are riding on the back of anything that they can sit on, and just like riding them around like little horses, looking like they're just having the time of their lives. Whereas the horses that are tied up to like the merry-go-round ride, just like we have at Scarborough, is literally like the next tent to the south, and they're just completely ignoring those animals. The donkeys and the horses on that thing are just like, we're right here, guys. Come on.
I would do it if I could, so I can't actually blame them.
Right? If I was small enough to ride on a pig, you're damn right I'd ride on a pig.
You're absolutely right, I would.
So the Cannoneer goblins run in fear from the demon head. They kind of stumble down that second plank. Or no, I guess the captain's the only one that's up there on that second deck. And they press themselves up against this far side railing and just look in fear at the illusion. And the captain is yelling, and that's the end of their turn. The captain is yelling something at them in Goblin. Again, none of you can really understand Goblin, but you get the gist of you yellow-bellied, stupid little fuckheads, get back over here and help me. And he will raise his little pistol from his shiny belt. He's wearing like this crushed red, like the cheapest velvet you've ever seen. This crushed red velvet coat. His tricorn hat is probably the only thing on him that looks nice, at least until he pulls out this pistol. And you can tell this thing has 3 little shots in it, and he levels it at the demon head that's glowering at him from the aft of his ship, and fires. And quote-unquote hits. But of course, the bullet passes through harmlessly. And now the stupid goblin captain must make another intelligence check. It's intelligence, wasn't it? Let me see. Yeah, what's your DC, Devin?
15.
Devin? 15? Excellent. Keep adding an extra R in your first name. Oh, he rolled a 2. He does not succeed. So he has not figured out why this did not harm the demon lord, but he looks slightly shaken and even takes a single step back. Okay. Oh, sorry, that's skipped Sarek's turn. Let's see. Let's roll some dice for him to see if what he's doing works. Okay, cool. I'll take 5 fire damage. He comes back out of the big top coughing. And he'll come back out of the big top coughing and looking even more panicked than he had before, and obviously is bothered by the sounds of Two Tusks and comes running out to see what she just broke. And again, an audible "oh fuck" as he just goes running back down the side of the big top. He doesn't get very far because he's out of breath. Two Tusks is going to make a wisdom saving throw to try and calm down. And fails. Two Tusks tries to tip the wagon. Strength check, Two Tusks. That's a 15 plus her. Oh, shall we see what an elephant's plus on her strength is? It's probably massive. Actually, I haven't looked at that yet. Elephant. Giant. There we go, elephant. That's a plus 6.
You happened to skip Devin, or did I miss that, or?
I accidentally,
I'm not sure, actually.
I did. I accidentally did skip Devin. That's my fault. So before we get into what Two Tusks does, go ahead, Devin. That's my fault.
We there?
Still
I
there?
think he's looking something up and not paying attention.
No, I had accidentally skipped Sarek's turn, and then I was like, oh yeah, I didn't skip his turn, so I did his turn, and then I hit the forward arrow and skipped off of your turn, so I just went straight to Two Tusks. That's my bad.
That's cool. I was going to say, you can have the elephant take its turn, and then I'll go.
What's that?
I said, you can have the elephant take its turn, then I'll go.
Oh, okay. He just basically tips over the wagon. That's the only thing Two Tusks really does, is he slams his, with an angry... that didn't work. Whatever. An angry trumpet, he slams his head up against the side of the wagon, and it tips over. And George just barely, with his reflex saving throw, steps off of the steps as the dang thing tilts over, and the Bard's Eye View Bard flutters off.
Okay.
So yeah, now to Devin.
I'm going to tell you something that I can say I can't actually see the captain up there.
Correct. Yeah, from your vantage point, you could a second ago when you summoned the demon or did your little demon illusion, but with how he did his little step backwards away from it, his head just disappeared out of your point of view.
Okay. I was just thinking, I wonder if I could actually just shoot an eldritch blast through the ship to hit him.
Probably not. You might be able to roll perception, actually. I'll see if you can see him through the railing. No, you cannot. You will have to go up the gangplank, you think. Which, for sake of argument, I'm actually just going to copy-paste that line into an easier-to-access spot, because... Copy. Paste. gangplank extends like that. There we go.
Gotcha. It's well out of my reach. Okay. Well, I'll move right there, and doubt I can see anything in the petting zoo right now.
Let's see. Well, it's pretty big, but let me draw a straight line here. You can kind of see the edge of it, so every now and then you get the goblin like riding by a goat or something.
I'm gonna try to pot shot one of those goblins off one of the goats.
Sure, yeah.
It's got a 120 foot range.
Oh
so.
yeah, you can definitely reach. Yeah. From where you're at, yeah, one of them rides by on his loop on the back of the goat, and you just poof, and the goat is suddenly soaked in seawater. Because I didn't have you roll damage, but go ahead and roll damage. My guess would be it would kill him. Eldritch
Kind of
Blast usually
obnoxious
does.
that didn't actually roll the damage. Oh, what the?
There it goes. Booped on our side. 11, yeah, definitely 11 damage. It just poof, and the goat comes to like a dead stop. As soon as there's nothing egging it on anymore, it just comes to a stop and resumes chewing whatever it was chewing on. The other two goblins are still going wild. One of them's on the back of a pig, and the other one is on the back of another pig. All right. And on to Miss Ling.
Yes. Well, we will be heading down towards the zoo. Because I can't... Where is my cursor? Because I can't see where Sarek is. Okay. I'm done. I dashed.
All right, yeah, you dash to the petting zoo, and you're able to see the two goblins running around on the pigs. And you'd kind of pass Sarek on the way. He's headed directly toward Two Tusks, obviously trying to get her under control. The big top is still burning, but it looks like one of the two holes that the cannon fire caused has gone out. Sarek must have done something from the inside to get that one to go out. It was the lower of the two, so maybe he threw dirt up on it or something. Not sure. So that's it for you?
Yep.
Okay.
Other than getting a weapon out.
Sure, yeah.
I already had it out, but, you know.
And
I just
Nate.
hauled ass.
Yeah.
So Nate was going to jump up onto the ship and just bum rush some guy, but then he heard the pistol shot and realized that maybe it would be safer to take it a little slower. So he's going to turn around and peek over onto the surface of the ship if he can. I don't know how tall it is.
It's about 10 feet up, so give me just a athletics check real quick to just grab the edge and kind of pull your eyes up.
Yeah, that is for athletics, you said, or acrobatics?
Either one, actually.
It's going to be a 17.
Oh yeah,
With an
enough.
acrobatics.
Yeah, you just kind of do a little, like one hand on the lip and like hold yourself up by the toe and see. And yeah, you're able to see right where he's standing, still kind of leveling, a little bit shakily, leveling this 3-chambered revolver at the demon head. And then there's the two that they're shaking in their boots, quite literally.
So I don't... Good to know. I don't think I'm going to be able to get up onto the ship, get over to him, and also attack him all in this round. That seems a bit much. Mm-hmm. But do I think that if I lay low this round and get a good grip, that I could make it over there and attack him next round?
As a matter of fact, with your acrobatics check, I will say that you are confident that you could flip yourself up and over, and that's actually only 20 feet across the deck. It's about 10 feet of movement up. So if you would like to make that movement, I won't make you make another check because 17 is more than sufficient. You can flip yourself up and over and make it to attack him this round if you like.
Right. Then I will do so, yes. I go ahead and hoist myself up and dash on over there as quick as can be. And I, honestly, I just sort of slam in with a haymaker for the first one, but then come back with another I suppose I didn't have the chair leg with me for that, but I punch him twice is the thing.
Nice.
I think that we all have to take away from this. Pretty good. The first one is a 22. The second is a 16.
Oh yeah. The first one's definitely a hit. The second one just barely connects. Like, he tried to dodge out of the way, and as you hit him, you can feel that your fist connected with a chainmail shirt underneath. Underneath his like foofy pirate shirt that he's wearing.
Do I roll damage for the second? That it was a successful hit.
Yes, absolutely. Go right ahead.
Even just barely. That is 10 damage total amongst the two.
Very nice. All right, so he will take 10 damage. And you kind of knock the wind out of him with the good old solid, like, hit him across the jaw and then hit him in the stomach. And the reason you're able to do this without him even so much as turning the gun toward you is, for all intents and purposes, the way that you flipped yourself over that railing, it looked like the Demon Lord head just spit you out. And so you just plopped out onto the deck, ran up, and clocked him. So he was too surprised to even do anything with the gun. He just... However, he is still, totteringly, on his two wooden legs, standing. But
I bounce back just a touch, and I bring my fists up in the traditional muscle man pugilist sort of... yes.
Got it. All right.
Come on.
So the carousing goblins continue doing their thing. They just kind of ride around like crazy, ignoring everything that's going on. Obviously drunk off of their asses. The goat stays put. The two cannoneers will attempt to make saving throws. One of them is like literally peeing himself and is not moving, and then the other one attempts to run up and help his captain with his little rusty cutlass. And he swings at Nate. I'm guessing a 7 does not hit your armor class.
A 7 doesn't, as a matter of fact.
So he comes and like swings at your knee, and you just do this, like you lift your leg, and the sword misses you entirely. On to the captain, who will do this fancy and suddenly, like, you're like, whoa, where did that nimbleness come from? Roll around behind you, granting himself advantage on the attack, and he swings with his hook hand. Ooh, and rolls a natural 19, so I'm guessing a 23 hits.
It does.
Okay. Well, he doesn't
Yeah, if it starts with twa, it hits.
It doesn't do a whole lot of damage. As a matter of fact, it does 2 points of piercing damage, but you're grappled as he sticks that hook like right into your collarbone.
It's a nightmarish possible way to take damage.
Yeah.
Great.
Really?
All right.
And he, at the end of his movement, levels the gun behind your head and just gives a nasty goblin chuckle. He's out of action, so he can't do anything with it. He can't even pull the hammer back. And you know he hasn't done that.
Guys, it's been good. I'm going to go ahead and start rolling up Nate's son. Great.
And let me see, one more thing. I wanted to double check the grappled condition, that I may share that with you. I think I have it right here from a friend of mine that sent it to me last time we were
Familiar.
gaming. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay. Testings work. Grappled creature's speed becomes 0, and it cannot benefit from any bonus to its speed. Condition ends if the grappler becomes incapacitated. Condition also ends if the effect removes the grappled creature from the reach of the grappler or the grappling effect, such as if the creature is hurled away by the Thunderwave spell. To escape a grapple, on your turn you may use your action to escape. To do so, you must succeed on a strength, athletics, or dexterity acrobatics check, contested by the grappler's strength check. So when it rolls back around to you, if you need that again, just let me know.
Absolutely. It's going to end with his incapacitation. Absolutely.
That'll be the end of his turn. Seric Bayleaf. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops, not stretchy. 5, 6. And he is luckily right at the end of the ropes, trailing from her neck. And he will grab... Let's see, let's roll a d6 and see what happens. Hey, 5 or 6, he gets all 3, so he got all 3. He grabs all 3 ropes as he dives on his belly to the ground and just pulls them taut, trying to just hold Two Tusks in place. Two Tusks will look around at him angrily and give another trumpet. And fails her will save again to resist continuing to rage. She tries to stomp Sarek. And misses. She rolls a 2. Okay. Back to Devin.
Dodge.
Right, yeah. Sarek got very lucky. I totally skipped George's turn a couple of times. George raises his hands and summons several gallons of water, which just dump down upon the big top. He just begins working on trying to put out the fire as fast as he can.
Works.
On to Devin.
Do I have to go to the bottom of that gangplank to actually start walking up to it, or?
No, you could reasonably, like, because it's a goblin gangplank especially, you could reasonably just step up onto it from right here.
Gotcha. My movement will take me to there on the ship.
Excellent. And yeah, you're level with all 3 contestants up there. The captain has, you can see now, Nate kind of hooked through the collarbone from behind and is trying to hold him still for the goblin in front of him.
I look at the one goblin just cowering in fear. I have to look at and then just kind of look over at the 2 goblins that are surrounding Nate. Just sit there for a moment, decide which one I want to shoot, and go ahead and shoot the captain.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, an 18 will definitely connect. 12 more force damage. And you
If you kill
push
steal me,
yet?
I swear to God.
Can you heal through, or can you push with your Eldritch Blast yet?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. That's another thing. I was like, I'm familiar with another warlock that knows how to push with their Eldritch Blast, so I didn't know if that would come into play here. So he will take that damage, and he's definitely bloodied and looking incredibly wounded, but somehow still living. As the force damage kind of peels away the goblin skin and one of his ears on the right side of his face and knocks his tricorn off. His skeleton looks like coral, like pink fire coral.
Odd.
Huh.
Anything else? Or that...
No, that's all I'm doing.
All right.
Just kind of yell at Nate, go ahead, finish him off. Let's get back to everything else.
Do it, but not because you told me to.
All right, Miss Ling Su.
You can just say Miss Ling. It's okay.
Okay.
So this is where they ended up last turn?
Mhm.
I'd like to vault over.
No problem. Moving through the fence just counts
2.
as 2.
Okay. I just thought vaulting over. Cool.
Well, yeah, go ahead and roll an athletics check,
2.
actually. That's fine. It's a real simple DC.
Athletics or acrobatics?
Either one, in this case.
Acrobatics.
Some
that
things,
way I roll
some
a
things I let
16.
it do it either or. So. What's that?
Well, 16.
Perfect, yeah, more than enough.
Okay, so she'll hop over and attack said goblin. And 14?
Absolutely, that's a hit.
For 5 points of damage.
Cool. Yeah, as this one dies, it soaks the pig in ale. It just turns into a giant, just like a barrel full of ale. Just.
I'm not going to taste it.
All right.
I like my ale dark.
Nate, you have a hook in your shoulder.
Yeah. What can I do about that?
You
can I try to disengage with it?
You can absolutely do that. You can also still attack your grappler. Just to double check.
Yeah, but I'm really concerned that because he has a hook in me, see, this issue with a hook.
True.
And I'd like to resolve it.
Sure. For that to resolve, either a strength athletics or dexterity acrobatics check. Acrobatics, I'm sure for you.
If acrobatics is an option, I'm always going to choose it. I'm
Absolutely.
apparently amazing at that. Which is good. It was a 12, so...
All right, now the captain gets to make a opposed strength check. Ooh, he only rolled a 6, plus his 4 is only a 10. So you are able to pull his arm forward, this beefy goblin arm. You're able to pull it kind of forward and up because he's shorter than you, and unhook it from your collarbone, and that's your action. So you still have movement and bonus to you.
I will simply use my... I'm going to move, actually, but I don't have any bonus actions I can do at the moment.
Okay.
Can I... Dodging is a standard action, isn't it?
Correct, yeah.
Alright, then I suppose I'm just gonna go ahead and move myself so I'm not being flanked anymore, but that's about it for me.
Okay. That does give the cannoneer an opportunity attack, which he will try to take, but he rolled a natural 1, and... Holy shit. Cuts his foot off. His own foot off.
You hate it. It's Mondays.
And he bleeds seawater and screams, but is just kind of now hopping around on one foot.
My house caught on fire, so I think we're both not having a good time.
Right. And he just... back to the drunken goblin, who finally seems to realize that something is going on because his is now the only giggles filling the air. And he just kind of blinks and stupidly looks at Miss Ling, hops off of his pig, stumbles toward her, and face plants in the mud. Just absolutely, like, nothing else. Like, he comes at you with his scimitar, does a few wobbly serpentine steps on his way there, and just before he can even raise it, just face plants in the mud in front of you. And a snore bubbles out of the mud.
Jeez.
Cannoneers. The other one finally gets to attempt another will save. A 19 this time. He's still terrified of Devon. So he's going to scooch this way. And seeking opportunity. Again with advantage. And still misses. Wow. Okay. Is not able to deal any damage to Nate. We are on to the captain. Who
Narrow misses.
who will totter backwards on his legs, on his wooden legs. Again, see the demon head. I need to make him make a intelligence saving throw against that. See how that's a 4. He still thinks it's real. So he levels the gun at the demon head as he screams, as he realizes it's there, because it's silent. You know, it doesn't move, or I say that it moves in minor ways because I like the idea of it like spitting Nate out, but it doesn't majorly move or make sound or anything. So as he backs away from the battle, clearly on last of his hit points, he sees this thing, panics, swings the gun to the right and shoots at it, and misses the illusion entirely. But not that that matters. And that'll be the end of his turn. Sarek will make an animal handling check. Ooh, natural 19. And opposed to, I'll just do a wisdom check from 2 tusks, a natural 6. He is able to get 2 tusks under control, which will take her off of the initiative board. And that will be all for Sarek's turn. Devin, to you, sir. You have a very wounded cannoneer hopping here. And then another one who had wet himself and was afraid of you, attacking Nate. And then the captain attacking, kind of with his back to you, attacking your demon head illusion.
I just look at the captain, sit there. I know you can't understand me, but I can't believe you think that thing is still real. Now give me your soul, as I hit him with an Eldritch Blast, or shoot an Eldritch Blast at him again.
Okay. The 14 is not enough to hit the captain. It bounces off of his chain shirt, singes a hole in his fluffy shirt in the back, but bounces off of his chain shirt and just kind of, flings off into the air there. Definitely get his attention, though.
Yeah.
Miss Ling, to you.
Yeah.
You have a sleeping
I
goblin
know.
in the mud.
I know. What the fuck? I'll just drive my sword into his back.
Okay. Yeah, you have advantage. You actually auto crit, so just roll double damage, I guess.
18.
Nice, yeah. He explodes also into just a puddle of grog. And that is the last of the goblins that are not on the ship.
And I'll look over at Odo and say, see, that's why you don't drink.
Kind of makes a chittering noise at you.
Go ahead, look for teeth.
And romps around in the mud, and you can see is picking them up here and there.
I can't believe you'd be so heartless as to think about teeth at a time like this.
He's a ferret.
Any
Told
movement?
him to look.
And?
Any movement or anything, Miss Ling?
Oh, yes, that's right. I can move now, can't I?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Each other.
They're still seeming to be having a little bit of problem over there, so I guess I'll head that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. It stopped. 4. Come on. 5. I think that moved not where I wanted it to. Oh no, that's okay. It's stuck.
All right. Neat.
Yes, I'd close the distance between myself and the captain. I understand that might be an attack of opportunity against me.
He will try and fail.
Sweet. And then I'm just going to straight up attack him.
All right.
Try to hit him twice. Let's see what happens. Oof. Well, let's see. The first is it's a 13 and a 14, so those both with.
Yep. Unfortunately.
Oh,
The Cannoneers. God's help me. He hops over on his one good fucking foot and tries to hit you with massive disadvantage, naturally. Oh my god, it's
work ethic.
another natural one.
does he cut his own foot off?
Yes, and just immediately, afterwards, he flops on the deck, looks at his stumps, and is like, come on, as he turns into seawater. Oh my god. If it weren't for the disadvantage, he would not have had that second natural one, but wow.
Death through self-amputation.
Right?
That's a new one.
That's a new one for me.
Kill for me, too. I didn't do anything.
The other one does roll a 16, so plus 2 is 18. That's a hit, I assume.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my AC is 16, so.
And he will do 3 points of slashing damage. And then he will take the disengage action as a bonus action to get the hell away from you, because he's also scared of you. And he backs up to the edge with the rest of his movement, but can't quite jump, and that will do all of his movement. The captain turns his gun finally upon Nate.
I knew this day would come.
What's that?
knew this day would come.
And attempts to level it at you, but because it is a gun and it's literally like face to face, it's a disadvantage roll. And he rolls a 7, and it fires over your right shoulder. And
My ears ring.
yeah, and he brings the gun back level at your face, and you can see his big yellow eye through all 3 empty chambers on this revolver, and he drops it in panic and attempts to use the disengage action as a bonus action and jumps backwards over the railing away from you.
You fucker.
He lands with a thunk in the ground, and when I say in the ground, I do mean it, as his 2 peg legs root him to the spot. But he does get a good 15 feet away from you, and he takes 1 more point of bludgeoning damage from the fall. To Sarek, who will mainly entertain himself with controlling 2 tusks and getting her back into the stables. After Sarek, George will kind of move over here and cast Create Water again to continue putting out the fire on the big top. And to Devin.
Well, in weighing my options, I figure the captain is a much more entertaining target than the other that is running in fear and terror.
Okay.
So I just kind of walk back down in the gangplank until I can see him and try another Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
And whiff.
Dang! Another whiff with a 12 and a 4, even if that had advantage. Yeah, he's, I guess, just facing you in just the right angle, and again, through the flappy open parts of his fluffy shirt, it just glances off the front of his chainmail, or his chain shirt he's got underneath, and kind of whiffs into the big top, blows another tiny hole in it, but it's not, on fire, it's just force.
Yeah.
Get me one of those pirate shirts.
Alright, and on to Miss Ling.
Do you want him? She's calling that out to Nate up there. Do you want him?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter much to me. Someone.
Alright, I'll pull out my bow and fire.
Okay.
Since he's kind of peg-legged in the ground, and I just did a natural 20.
Awesome. Okay. Roll the hit. Or roll damage. You're going to do double damage, and I'll say a called shot. How would you like to finish this guy off?
I'd actually like to take off his other arm.
Oh, the non-hook hand?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, you pull back on the bowstring and level it, and you're like, you know what, this will be funny. And you let it go on his gun hand, and as it pierces his hand backwards into it pierces right in between the bones of his wrist. And because he's a goblin and these big broadhead arrows, it just severs the hand off and it flops down. But it pins his now stumpy arm to the side of his ship.
Yeah, I did 24 points of damage.
Yeah. And as blood, for the first time, you see blood actually come out from the end of his arm, followed by grog, followed by ale, followed by wine, followed by seawater and sea foam. And his flesh just kind of peels away from this entire skeleton, his entire goblin skeleton, just completely made of this fire coral. Just very vibrant pink and red. And there's just no flesh whatsoever left on it, and it just kind of falls down in this puddle of mostly alcohol and seawater and sea foam, and there's bits of seaweed that are trailing off in this puddle, and the puddle just gradually sinks into the earth. But the skeleton just kind of remains there, the tricorn hat sitting at a jaunty angle.
Well, he is pinned to the ship now.
Yeah, the severed hand still gripping the empty 3-chambered revolver, and the other hand still, or the other hook still glittering, kind of in the night air. And the other goblin, you just hear him in very discernible common and goblin, because it means the same thing in both languages. No! Nate, it's your turn.
So I'm going to go ahead and dispose of him quickly.
Okay.
I think that's the best move. Is there a sharp sword around this ship that I can pick up on my way to him?
As a matter of fact, laying halfway between you and him is the sword of the one that took off the 2 feet.
That would do wonders, actually, for me. So I go ahead, I walk over to him, and I pick up the sword, and I administer it onto the goblin twice.
Excellent.
One's a real botch job. It's a real nasty gig. That was a 2, so that's not going to happen. But the other one was an 18.
You do the you like kind of raise it, because he's got this very sad look on his face, and the reason the first one misses is you raise the sword to thunk it, to hit him with it, and you like frustratedly thunk it into the side of the banister for a second instead, because he's just and then when he hears that and sees that, he again just reverts back to that feral nature and tries to leap for you, but the 18 is a solid connect as he does so roll damage.
That works for me because I'm not proficient with it, so that was... it's going to be then 6 damage.
Nice, yeah. Oh, plenty to kill a goblin. And as he kind of leaps at you, you just like and like thrust it forward, and he impales himself, right in the heart basically, and he goes very quickly. And as that happens, he just kind of disintegrates into a flump of seaweed and sea foam.
All right, awesome. Then I'm done with the sword. I go ahead and just sort of toss that back onto the deck, and I'm going to use the rest of my movement to start coming back.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, you come back, and that sword lands with a nice in the deck, and yeah, it's gone quiet again. The 2 tusks is no longer bellowing. The crackling of the big top has ceased, and now there's just kind of a steady drip, drip, drip of the water coming off of the top into the middle. Audible sigh from George, and he casts mending on the fence for the stables a couple of times as a cantrip, and the fences for the stables go back up. And yeah, we're out of initiative, so we can kind of act.
How's the fire doing on the big top?
George has managed to put it out by this point.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because that was otherwise going to be my top priority.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So for now, you have a giant ship, a goblin captain's coral skeleton, and seemingly, aside from the big top repairs that now need to be done, otherwise it seems relatively normal. But there is the deal of figuring out what the hell to do with this ship.
Yes.
My investigation's not very good, but I would like to, I guess, kind of work my way around the ship, since it's partly in the Tent of Wonder, and try to figure out where this ship came from.
Sure, yeah. We'll resolve that here in just a second. So, Nate and Devin, what are you two up to? We'll start with Nate.
We'll take a look at the captain, look at the skeleton to see if it really is just coral, or if there is anything more to it.
Okay. So you'll come down
hop
here.
down and...
Yeah. How about you, Devin?
I'm just gonna casually walk down the gangplank and wake up. Yeah. I dismissed the demon head that just rolled over on the. Call it a day.
Didn't catch that last part, sorry.
I said just call it a day.
Oh, okay. So Devin just kind of starts wandering back toward the campground, just like, that was boring, I'm done. Dismisses the demon head with just a lazy wave, and So, Miss Ling, go ahead and make your investigation checks for me. We'll make 3 in total and tell me what they all are.
Okay.
And then same thing for Nate, please.
Where is it? Where is it? Investigation. There it is.
But not 3. We'll just do 2 for Nate.
A 10,
Understood.
a 20,
Oh, dang.
and a 17.
Okay. Excellent. How about you, Nate?
A 2 and a 0.
For
Not
all
do
intents
well.
and purposes, that is a weird coral that grew into a skeleton. Or that's a skeleton that got completely taken over by coral. You're not really sure.
What it is.
Yeah.
It's clearly a skeleton overgrown with coral.
There is one other spot that I'll say that you noticed just in general because you were up on deck, and Miss Ling will find this eventually as well. There's a door into the captain's quarters. It's a very small little cabin, and then there is, of course, there's a trapdoor, I guess is the proper term, a hole in the deck, a framed hole in the deck for you to go
Yes.
below decks into the hole.
A hatchway.
Hatchway, thank you. Yeah, that. There is a hatchway that is uncovered. So there are those 2 things. And Miss Ling, as you walk around the ship, the main thing that you find with your 20, especially when you're near the aft, there's a few things to note about the Tent of Wonder because it is a tent that's made to be magical and hold magical things. And with many of the tents here in the campground, if the owners are magical of any sort, they tend to put up protections and that sort of thing. This tent has been rooted to the ground with magic, so it is very firm, and you can tell that like the guy lines and the ropes and stuff tied to the stakes that are holding the Tent of Wonder down look like they're strained as this ship's aft is just crammed in the entrance, completely blocking you from getting in or out. But the tent itself has not come up or budged. You're very impressed by the tent itself, just like the magic that has managed to keep it still after whatever happened here. Your investigation also shows you that like the dirt was indeed pushed aside as though the ship was just ran aground right off of a very high tide right into the grounds of your circus for whatever reason. And as you're back there by the aft end of the ship looking, like can I get into the cave, or into the cave of wonder? Tent, it's bound to happen at some point. Can I get into the Tent of Wonder at all, which you find you can't, that you hear a crunch, and you look underneath your boot, and there's broken glass. And as you look, very obviously the remains of a large broken glass bottle. You even find the neck of it, and the cork has been unstoppered. After a few minutes of searching, you do find the cork.
Interesting. Well, this could have been what they were drinking out of. They got drunk on.
I'll go ahead and let you make another wisdom check. Similar to the one that everybody failed last time.
9.
9?
Yep.
Yep. Still not ringing a bell. You swear you've seen this before.
Well, I'll kind of gather up the pieces
Okay.
and take them off to show George.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, George will be over there kind of fixing the fence. And, you'll come over to him right about the
George.
time he's finishing up.
George, what is this from?
He just kind of looks at it and he's like, looks like trash somebody just left laying around.
No, it was on the ship.
Oh.
It's in the tent.
What? Okay. Hold on. And he casts mending on it. And as the pieces rebuild themselves and the cork squeaks back into the neck of the bottle, you recognize it very clearly, even because the dust on the underside of the glass, marking where it was sitting on its rests, is still kind of there, or the lack of dust, rather. This is a ship bottle. It's a bottle that used to have a ship in it. And as a matter of fact, this used to sit on the tent, inside the Tent of Wonder. And you could watch as these little goblin pirates ran around on the ship and moved the riggings, and the ship moved as though it were on water. It was the coolest little thing.
Well, until it got broken, obviously.
Yeah. The ship isn't in the bottle anymore, obviously.
How do we get it back?
And that's the question, isn't it? George is like, I don't know the stuff in the Tent of Wonder that was here before I bought this circus. Oh.
And that was how many years ago, George?
I've lost count. Don't make me feel old. He just kind of waves his hand at you, and he's like, "We gotta get the guy who owns that. What's his name? I should know this. It's in the files, so I don't have to know it."
Go look, please.
Yeah, I'll go look. Hold on. And so he goes toddling back off to the... he gets back over to the cart and he goes, "Damn it!" at the top of his voice. Because the cart was tipped over. And then he and Cyric then spend the next, 30 minutes doing the calm version of getting Two Tusks hooked back up to the wagon so she can tip it, pull it back up, because she's the only thing strong enough that can tip it back up. Because this thing is that's actually about to scale. This thing is actually 30 feet long, has massive wheels. The wheels are 5.5 feet tall each, this massive, massive wagon. So they get her hitched back up and they gradually pull the office back up. Devin, is there anything you'd like to do back in the campgrounds there?
Just kind of watches, or pretty much just sitting back at the campfire. If I can see the tipped over office and then picking up Two Tusks back to it.
Okay.
Or can I?
Yeah, you can kind of see that from the campgrounds. They're a little bit up on a hill, not much of one, because they still there's a lot of trees around too. But it's easy enough to get an eye line, especially after just everything you've been through, to keep an eye just what's going on down there.
Yeah, I'm just kind of watching. Hitch Two Tusks back up to the office to get it upright again. Chuckling to myself.
Excellent.
Feeling a little bit healthier after the battle than what I was.
Yeah. Cal and Barry Bluther are still kind of sitting around the fire. They've got Cal all bandaged up from where he'd taken the hit from Cyric's longsword. And Cal just looks at you and motions toward the camp and said, What the hell is that all about?"
No idea. Just random batch of goblins, I guess.
And Bluther's like, they kind of look like those goblins that are, and she mentions, that are in the Tent of Wonder. Those little ones that were running around in the ship's bottle. Hold on, give me just a second. I'm going to go see if Gavin knows anything about that, because, well, they did a lot of damage. And she toddles off, and Cal is, just kind of looking into the fire and looking at the wound that Cyric gave him. And looks into the fire, and he's like, "We really need a cleric in this circus."
Yeah.
And Nate, what are you up to?
At this point now, I'm going to go back onto the ship and investigate it a little more thoroughly. See if there's any inside or below deck that I can take a look at and, see what there is to see.
Sure. Go ahead and roll investigation, and we'll do 2 more rolls this time.
You got it. I'm very good at this. All right, the first is an 8 and the second is an 18. These were much better rolls.
Excellent. Okay. Yeah, you stick your head in the captain's quarters, which is, again, just kind of a goblin facsimile of what a human's captain quarters would be. Everything's a little bit smaller in scale, and everything is filthy. Goblins don't know what a trash can is. If they know what a toilet is, sometimes it shows. With the captain, it kind of shows. He's got a chamber pot that's filthy over in the corner of it. He's got a little desk with plotting maps. And there is a tiny sea chest tucked behind the captain's desk.
That's really of note to me. I go over there and I see what. I mean, can I just open it? Is it locked?
It appears to be locked, and there's a simple keyhole on the front.
When I was at the captain, was it just the coral left?
Was the coral, his empty gun, and his tricorn hat.
All right, so there's no like jacket to check the pockets of.
Right.
All right, then I pick up the box.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I would say I do a sweep of the room for the key, but I imagine that was already part of the roll. So.
The chest is easy enough. You could easily fit it underneath one arm, and it does feel pretty heavy, and sounds like it's clinking on the inside. And then your
Wonderful.
18 will actually reveal what's beneath the hatch. Underneath the hatch, you see rows upon rows of dirty and filthy hammocks made of net or spare sails. The sails of this ship are...
I'm sorry. You cut out when you just started. For me, at least. I'm so sorry. Could you
No, it's okay.
start that up?
The hold below is filled with just row upon row of dirty hammocks. Some of them made with old netting, some of them made with old sails, and all of them stained. All of them had contained goblins at one point, but all of them are empty now. And at the far end, underneath what looks like a whole bunch of fishing nets, is this just strange green glowing light.
Huh.
You can't see from... Without approaching it and pulling back the nets, you can't tell what is causing the light.
Is there any other movement at all in the ship?
No.
If there is not, I'm interested in going in and approaching and investigating that further.
No other movement aside from, as you're standing on the ship, you cannot... Nobody else can visibly see this, and you can only barely see it. It's just barely perceptible. It's like the faintest ghost whisper of all of the following. The slightest rocking with the tide. The smell of salt in the air. Just barely whispering sounds of waves up against the hull, lapping gently against the hull of the ship as though you're anchored in a lagoon somewhere. And it's just a light, breezy day. And again, you get all of these fleetingly, and it's like that smell that you catch a whiff of it, you're like, ooh, somebody's cooking. Where did it go? There it is again when you're not paying attention, But aside from that, no, the ship is just silent. No other movement or anything.
Oh, that's good. All right, then I feel safer to go in and approach that light that you were mentioning.
Okay. As you get closer to the light, the sound and all of those feelings grow a little bit more intense. Not a lot. It's still definitely a phantom, because you've been on a ship before, albeit briefly. So it's definitely still a phantom version of this. But as you get closer and closer to the light, and you can kind of see it's these big heavy nets, obviously had been used for like cargo netting. And beneath them you can see that it's a painting that's giving off this light, and it's a painting of a sunset that is depicting the green flash, the telltale green flash over an ocean that happens at sunset. And that green flash is what is softly glowing and emanating out from there. And there seems to be a tiny little hole missing in the canvas that you can see as you kind of pull back the nets. And it's got this beautiful driftwood frame. You pull back the netting, there's a hole missing in the canvas. And you can just barely make out the white traces of paint that are moving, just slightly in the animation of this paint, this ensorcelled painting, that indicate the wake of a ship, perhaps, was cut out of here.
Huh. But isn't that just the damnedest thing? All right. Well, I go back up top to tell the others about it then.
All right.
I mean, unless there's a little piece of ship fabric lying around somewhere.
You do not see any canvas pieces anywhere nearby.
Imagine so. I go up then to let others know.
Awesome. All right, yeah. Miss Ling, you see Nate kind of come up from below decks and comes kind of walking down the gangplank with a little sea chest under his arm.
Oh, you
Hey,
found something.
Yes. So, I went inside the ship. I'm sorry, I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
No, I was just... Look. She'll show him the bottle ship. Or the ship bottle. Or however you want to put it. That was in here.
What, the ship?
Yes.
Oh!
Yeah, and then it hits you. You're like, I did see that shit sitting in the Ten of Wonder, because you've all seen each other's attractions and shit, of course.
That's very strange. It's large now.
Yes, trying to figure out how to get it back in.
Found a painting inside the ship. It was glowing first off, which really set a lot of my flags up, and it seemed to be moving slightly, and it was of this ocean front, but it had a small ship, presumably ship, cut out of it. So,
Well, that's interesting.
I suppose keep your eyes peeled, maybe for a small ship painting scrap.
Right?
That I haven't really got any other news. I found, and I sort of shake the chest under my arm. I found this, but I haven't got a key. But it seems like this could be interesting to keep around.
Well, I might be able to open it.
Be very appreciative.
All right.
I guess
Did
I
you
would...
want to do that here, or we could do it later? I don't know if now's the best time.
Let's take it back to the campsite. Or would you rather do this all by ourselves?
Well, that's not a bad idea, actually.
Which?
To do it by ourselves.
Ah, all right.
Just table it for now, because I think there are more pressing matters, and we'll
Agreed.
get to the fun stuff. I think when we've really worked for it, because there's still this giant ship.
Yes, the big problem.
As much as I know I'm very interested in opening this chest, we need to figure out, like you said, how to get this ship either back in the bottle or just gone anyway.
Yes, well, George is looking for the owner's name.
And it is about at that time that Barry Bluther, holding the hand of a very tired and very just haggard-looking old elf wizard. And this elf wizard is so old, he's an elf with a beard. You don't see that very often. Is just pulling him by the hand. Is like, come, this is your fault. You have to help us with this. And he's like, what are you talking about? And then he comes around, comes down the hill, and rubs the sleep out of his eyes and looks up at the three masts of the ship and goes, oh no. Did they kill anyone this time? And Barry's like, well, I don't know, and just keeps pulling him forward. Like, and he sees the coral skeleton of this goblin captain and says, oh, well, seems you've already handled the worst part. And he picks up his hat, the little tricorn hat, and turns it over. And sewn on the underside of the cap of this tricorn hat is the key. And he actually just leaves the skeleton right where it was and just holds the hat out to you for you to take the key out of it. Says, you can do the honors.
I'll take the key out. And,
Is this a man I recognize?
You recognize this man, as all of you recognize him, as this is Gavin. You only know him as Gavin. That's the only name he's ever gone by. It's a very, very old gray elf that runs the Tent of Wonders.
Okay. All right. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No worries at all. But yeah, he offers the little tricorn hat to you. And Devin, I should note, you do see them come walking out, you're welcome to tag along if you like.
Yeah, I'm just kind of following behind
Okay.
the old wizard and whatnot.
Sure, yeah.
Basically one of those, huh,
Yeah.
what's he doing out of bed?
Yeah.
Takes a step back to not really be the main guy.
And while he's handing the hat to Nate, Miss Ling will hand Gavin the bottle.
Gavin just says, "Oh, thank you, my dear," and he turns over and sets the bottle gently on the ground, kind of looks at it, looks at the ship, adjusts the bottle a little bit, and then just leaves it be. And he says, "Right, this part's the part you don't have to be quick about, but it is the rather more exciting part. Go on then," and like waves his hand at you, Nate, with the key. And the chest.
I apologize. I didn't realize he was deliberately trying to give it to me as opposed to the group in general.
Oh, no
I
worries.
will go ahead and pluck that from him then.
Okay.
I take a small eating knife out from around my belt and I cut it free. And then undo the lock.
All right. There's a small click, a small gush of sea foam around the edges as you open this thing up, and then remarkably dry on the inside, aside from just a pile of gold. More gold than you probably earned as a circus this weekend, as a whole, like for all of you.
Oh, goodness.
And a couple of gems sparkled across the top, and a singular piece of canvas bearing a very tiny painting resemblance of the ship that is thrust out of the front of the Tent of Wonder. He says, "The gold and jewels are for you all to keep. The canvas has to go back where it goes. It resets the spell. That's the part we have to be quick about. Have to get on the ship and back out quickly. And then, oh, what a sight to behold." And like the sleepiness has gone away, and he's just got this mischievous grin on his face.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any argument there. Please go ahead and take that.
And he takes the canvas from you, and he just kind of looks at Devon or looks at Miss Ling and says, "Well, would either of you like to see the painting before it goes back into the bottle for whoever knows how many more years?"
Sure.
Certainly.
He goes, "Come then." And he'll walk you down, lower himself rather nimbly for an old man into the hatchway, walk you over again to this heavy netting and pull it all back like he's done this many, many times before, and bends over and fits that neat little oval with the painting of the ship from a bird's eye view up and above and behind it into it. And as he does so, the green flash completes. The sun sets behind completely and sinks completely out of sight behind the horizon, and the ship creeps ever, ever closer to the horizon in the animation of this painting. There is a great shake of the ship as though it had just been hit by a massive wave as you stand on it. Gavin smiles warmly at both of you, grabs both of your hands, and teleports out from the hold of the ship to right back outside in front of the big top again. And you watch as the ship rocks back and forth as if on stormy seas, and as it rocks forward as though it's about to roll completely over, snap the masts, and just roll on top of you, it seems to roll down into nothingness, and with another bright green flash, poof, it's back in the bottle, and the only evidence left behind is a couple of patches of dirt that are wet with seawater and grog, and a big old gouge in the dirt in the front of the Tent of Wonder. And that's where we'll stop our episode for tonight.
Cool.
Thank you all so much for joining me. We made it to just past midnight. I'm actually surprised we made it that far. I was able to fill the time. We had some technical difficulties getting started, but I had a fucking blast. I hope you guys had fun.
It was a lot of fun.
I had a great time.
Cool. Well, I will definitely shout at you next time we are available for another Circus Geeks episode. Next time I get an idea for a little prompt. Just to give credit where credit is due, this prompt was actually Sarah's idea. I don't know if she remembers giving it to me, but months and months and months ago, she was like, "What if you had a ship in a bottle that when the ship in the bottle broke, the pirates got out and you had to fix it?" And so I was like, "I'm going to do that, but it's going to be goblins."
That's right. I read that in a book.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, that came from a book.
There are no original ideas. I think Shakespeare told us that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again, everybody. I had a lot of fun, and I'll let you go because it is late. So,
As did
You
I.
too, man.
And it was great meeting the two of you.
yes.
Indeed.
You as
Yeah,
well.
it's good to talk to you two again. It's been a while for both of you.
Yes.
And yeah,
And-
y'all have a wonderful night.
Yes. Cheerio.
Cheers.
Have a
Take
good
care.
one.